Welcome to all of those who are here today. Glad you could join us. And as you probably know by now, I'm Clarissa Stebbing, Prevention Block Grant Coordinator for the State Board of Education, and then I also do substance use prevention. Um, Today, we are just going to go through our agenda, similar to how we always do these meetings. So I'll give you a little bit of information regarding the block grant administration. I'll turn the time over to Megan and her team to talk through a program that they're implementing using block grant funds. We'll have time to do some small group discussions. We'll do a large group share out, and then I'll share some upcoming training opportunities. But to start off, I wanted to introduce Michelle to everyone. Michelle, I'm going to see, oh, there she is. She's waving. Michelle, so as you know, in our last meeting, we mentioned that Kathy Davis was retiring, and Michelle is taking Kathy's spot. So Kathy has been our threat and crisis response specialist. So many of you may already know Michelle, and she is now taking over suicide prevention responsibilities as well. Michelle, I'm going to put you on the spot. Is there anything that you want to say?
Hi everybody. I think I know the majority of you, but yeah, as Clarissa said, I am stepping into this role now that Kathy is retired. So, welcome. You're always welcome to give me a call if you guys need anything for crisis response, suicide prevention, mental health. And I still am working with the school safety center. So if you need anything school safety related, threat, CSTAG, things like that, I'm also happy to help connect on that side too. So thank you guys. Thanks for the introduction, Clarissa.
Thanks, Michelle. Looking forward to working with you even more in this capacity. So she'll be helping to coordinate the block grant in addition to all of the suicide prevention and all the other things that you do. So you have many roles and responsibilities and appreciate all that you do. Just as a quick reminder to everyone, all funds need to be spent by June 30th. So please continue to submit your reimbursement requests. It makes it easier to do that on an ongoing basis rather than waiting until the very end. I know some of you don't have a whole lot of control as to when your business administrators submit those receipts, but if you can encourage them to do so, that certainly helps avoid any issues later on down the road. And just receipts do need to, and your invoices need to submit or needs to reflect the spending requests that are found in your application. If you need to make any changes to what was already approved, then you can chat with me about that. And then food is not an allowable expense for block grant funds. And that's all the information that I have today as far as the block grant housekeeping. I do want to turn the time over to Megan, and she has presentation here. We're so grateful that Megan has agreed and her team from Box Elder School District have agreed to talk with us about the Check and Connect program and what they're doing within their district, and hopefully share some tips and things that.
All right. Is
Let me know
Clarissa?
when you want.
Oh, okay. So sorry, it froze for a second. My name's Megan.
Oh,
I'm Director of Student Services for Box Elder School District, and I'm here to introduce our awesome Check and Connect mentors, and I'll let them kind of explain where they're at and stuff like that. But first one is Kaylee Richards, Martha Ewer, Brianne Jones, and that's all I see so far. So I would like to turn the time over to those amazing Check and Connect mentors, and they're going to give you a tour.
All right, thanks, Megan. So yes, I'm Kaylee Richards, and I am a mentor here at Box Elder School District. I have been doing the Check and Connect program for the past year and a half, and I love the program, and I've seen the success firsthand with my students, and so I'm excited to share a little bit about it. I'll go first, and then Brianne and Martha will jump in and present some as well. And then can I move the slide to the next, or perfect. Thank you. All right. So to go over first, as we're going into kind of what we'll be talking about today, we're going to do an overview of the Check and Connect program. We will then discuss implementation on the district level, the school level, and on the individual mentor level. And then we will also share what the Check and Connect program goals and outcomes are. And with that, we'd like to share some of the results that we have seen within our district. So what is Check and Connect? Check and Connect is a mentoring intervention that supports student engagement for students who show warning signs of disengagement with school and at a risk of dropping out. There are 4 components that make up the Check and Connect program, and they are the mentor, check, connect, and family engagement. So we want to take a closer look at what the core components are. If we could go to the next slide. Thank you. Okay, so these are the core components of Check and Connect. The mentor, which the mentor makes a long-term commitment to build a relationship and support the students. And that's a big part of it, is that one-on-one relationship with the students and having a trusted, caring adult within the school. The check component would be that the mentor systematically monitors the student's level of engagement and education progress. And we'll get into these a little bit more detailed as we're moving forward with our presentation. The connect component is that the mentor conducts a weekly one-on-one meeting with the student to review the data and implement personalized interventions. And then the family engagement component, which is another big part of the Check and Connect program. And the mentor partners with the family to enhance students' learning opportunities, educational progress, and school success. And perfect, thank you. So some of the key features of Check and Connect is that it is preventative, in that it provides timely interventions to keep students engaged. It builds capacity, and it works with students to build new skills such as problem solving and goal setting. We do that weekly with the students. It's efficient and adaptable. It builds on existing programs, services, and resources within the home, school, and community. It provides outreach, and it creates long-term trusting connections between schools, youth, and families. And a big part is that it's individualized. So using that systematic approach and organized approach, it focuses on the needs of each individual student.
All right, so okay. Is there? Sorry, guys.
That's okay, but if you have more than one computer on, maybe try muting one of the computers or turning off the volume.
All right, we're good now. Okay. An overview of the Check and Connect program. Check and Connect is an evidence-based program that's been shown to increase attendance, academic achievement, and student wellness. It's a 2-year program that provides ongoing systematic intervention and support to promote student engagement at school and with learning. The core elements of Check and Connect include relationship building, problem solving, and persistence. And then we report weekly and periodically to USBE. Thanks. Okay, our district's implementation. So we use Check and Connect as a prevention intervention. It's been in our district for 2 years. During the first year, it was at 2 middle schools in the district, and we had 1 mentor at each school with about 24 students in each caseload. So we ended up being about 50 students. And then we are currently in our 2nd year. We are, oh, sorry. We have the program in 5 schools throughout the district, 2 high schools, 2 middle schools, and 1 intermediate school. And we currently have 5 mentors serving 112 students. And then at each individual, oh wait, sorry, can we go to the next slide? Thanks. At each individual school, to implement the program, there's an initial meeting with school admin and counselors to introduce the program and assigned mentor. Referrals for the program come from a team collaboration between counselors, administrators, and mentors. And students being served include safe school violations, typically for vaping, student wellness needs, and academic disengagement.
Okay, so we as mentors implement the program at the school by checking and connecting, referring to 2 of the 4 components. Checking, we meet weekly with the individual students, tracking data, reviewing data concerning attendance, grades, and behaviors with each of our students. From there, then the connect aspect comes into place, which involves capacity building. We work with students based on data, what skills would help them better themselves in those 3 areas of attendance, grades, and behaviors. So problem solving is a part of that, goal setting as well. Another component of the connect portion is team engagement. So to further student success, student engagement, we work with parents, administration, counselors, and students, teachers. There's also regular communication with parents and caregivers, often on a regular weekly basis. Well, I'll discuss more about that communication and parent engagement in a future slide here. But the last component that you see here on this slide with concerning Connect is we help foster student connection to the school, not only within the classroom, but we also, a part of the program's infrastructure is to encourage extracurricular involvement to enable students to feel more engaged at the school. So again, we foster student connection to school, and we use data-based interventions. Okay, next slide. So Check and Connect works. Check and Connect is based out of the University of Minnesota, and it is evidence-based. That's what and we see it at our own schools. But the 5 buttons that you see here, credit accrual, students, hold on just a moment here. Concerning credit accrual, we see an increase in their academic credits, what they've earned. Engagement in school, as I explained in the last slide, engagement in school concerning their classes and extracurricular programs. Positive behaviors, there's a reduction in behavioral referrals and dropout rates. Attendance, we see an improvement in attendance and a decrease in truancy and tardiness. School completion, again, going back to the academic credit accrual, we are seeing our students working towards a high school diploma, and the whole program is to avoid high school dropouts. So this is in general with the program nationwide, but we are definitely seeing it at our school and district level, just the goals and outcomes of this program. All right, next slide, please. So this is the fun part. Not that the other part wasn't fun to go over the goals of the program, but here we get to share with you individual success stories with students that we work with. So this graph is representing one of my students. You'll notice there's a stark difference between first trimester and second trimester, focusing on absences and behavior incidents. The student started the school year on a rough note, came in with, oh, she's going to be a hard one. She's going to be a hard one. And 17, you'll note 17 absences in first trimester dropped to 4 absences in second trimester. We have 2 weeks left and she's just going strong. 17 behavioral incidents at our school first trimester. And this trimester, she has 0. This student is now encouraging her friends to attend class. Noting her, I know her GPA is not noted here, but first trimester she passed 1 of her 6 classes. This trimester she's on track or on course to pass 5 of her 6 classes. This is her second year in the program as she started at the middle school last year. And research shows that this program says we see a turnaround mostly in the second year. So another example, not quantitative, qualitative. This morning I met with one of my students and we celebrated his 37% in his science class, where he struggled immensely he was a non-attender first trimester. We got his parents involved. He did not want his parents involved, but now we have his parents and his parents are involved and they wanted to be involved all along. They were solely Spanish speakers. And through the Check and Connect program, we opened up a door for them, an avenue, a direct communication, because I communicate with them on a weekly basis, and they were hungry and thirsty for involvement in their students' schooling. So now, with communication with parents and their support from home, this student, second student I'm speaking of, today, we celebrate 37% in science. Is it still an F? Yes, but it's much better than the 0% he was getting earlier. That's mine. And so now I'm going to turn it over to Brianne.
All right. All right, thanks. Okay, so here's a couple more success stories. We have 2 students and their GPAs from trimester 1 to trimester 2. So student A was able to triple their GPA from a 0.83 to a 2.5. Student B also had some improvements from 1.7 to 2.2. I also have some non-quantitative stories. I was talking to a student this morning who is currently failing all 5 of their classes. And they were feeling a little lost. And I was like, okay, let's count it out. What do you need to do to pass? So we were able to look at the grades and assignments, and we found 6 things. All we needed to do to pass, do 6 things. And so they left feeling a lot better about that. And they're like, okay, I can do 6 things. So that was super fun. And I'm really excited to see their grades next week. All right, Kaylee, do you want to share your success stories?
Yes. All right, so one of my success stories was I had a student last year, actually. I worked with her throughout the year, and it was a little bit into meeting with her and in talking with her. And that's why these one-on-one weekly meetings are so important, is because you really do get to establish that rapport with the students and that they know they have a trusted adult and one that really cares. We get to connect with them on a different level than the teachers do, or even a school counselor. It's just a lot of times we'll find out a little bit more personal information that they might be in need of at their homes or in their lives. But in speaking with this student, I found out that she had a hearing loss. She has 2 hearing aids. And so I was looking into her student profile, and I noticed that she didn't have a 504 plan or anything. She was also only attending about 2 days a week. And the days that she was coming, she was leaving early, usually after the first couple of hours. So in our meetings, we talked about how she was feeling at school. She also had a lot of anxiety. And she mentioned how when she goes into the hall to go from class to class, during the class transition times, her hearing aids would screech and go off, and it was hurtful on her ears, and it was too overwhelming, and it just was too much. So she would end up going home, and she'd have really bad headaches. And so with the communication with her parents, they had mentioned that she had had a 504 previously before she had moved to our school district. but it had kind of fallen through the cracks in the last couple of years, and so they just hadn't really done anything with it. So I put them in touch with our school counselor and admin, and they got a 504 put into place for her to get those accommodations of simply leaving class 3 minutes early to be able to get to her next class before the rush in the halls went, to avoid that commotion and the loud noise for her hearing, and then also the anxiety within that. Um, Also, to let the teachers know, the teachers had no idea she had a hearing loss. And she would actually go home after school and get on YouTube to learn how to do her assignments because she wasn't getting the instruction in class time. So even for the teachers to be aware of that hearing loss and then to provide those accommodations that they set up in the 504 plan for her, seeing her attendance increase and just her overall well-being of not feeling that anxiousness or coming into the counseling center because she was feeling overwhelmed was huge. And then also having that conversation with her on being able to advocate for herself and to build those skills that she needs to be successful in her life going forward. So that was a great win for us at that school. And then, do we have any more success stories? Are we good? Okay.
No, we have more.
Well, we have a lot of success stories, but we won't share them all. And then if you'll go to the next slide. Perfect. Okay, so these are helpful hints for any districts or schools that are interested in using the Check and Connect program and implementing it within your own schools. First would be a big thing is to do an introduction of the Check and Connect program for the school's admin and counselors. So they are aware of what the program is, how we serve the students, how we help the students, and the type of students that would benefit the most from the program. It is a team effort in who is placed into the program. And so just to have that information to them. Also an introduction of the Check and Connect mentor to the school staff that they'll be serving. So a lot of times we don't get to see a lot of the teachers or staff, but just so they know who the mentors are and kind of, they don't know the caseloads that we're working with. But if we reach out to them, then they kind of know who the mentor is and why they're reaching out. Another thing that would help with ensuring that the program is done to fidelity is to have the Check and Connect mentors invited to any at-risk meetings that involve their students, so that can be communicated with the counselors and admin, and just so again that team approach with these kids. And then everything is underneath the USBE. And so they actually provide a new mentor initial training, get them trained, and they get us trained with what we are to do with the program. Again, fidelity is a huge thing with the program and getting that weekly data. And so they go over that and we report back to them as well. And so that's a big part, is just to make sure the mentors are trained on the program and how to do it. So you can see that success when it's done to fidelity. Oh, and they have, thank you. They have monthly webinars that USBE puts out to all of us that we log into and watch, and they are just wonderful. They give more resources for us and just those extra tools to help us serve the students that we have on our caseloads. So that's basically what we have for you today.
Thank you so much. That was so great to hear what you've been doing, and it sounds like you've seen a lot of success. Are there any questions?
I think everybody's always interested in how you fund your mentors.
Well,
Thanks, Paul.
that's part of, the prevention block grant. That's what we applied our money from the prevention block grant is to fund these amazing mentors and just having that connection with the kids and that prevention. You know, you start to see warning signs. So we're doing a lot of this to try to prevent further incidents or like Martha was saying, kind of the dropout and really all of you got to find the right people. That's you know that's part of the hard part, but we've been lucky in our district to have these guys and just kind of showing the success that they have and the relationships they build with the kids and the families. But that's how we're funding our Check and Connect mentors.
So right now it's all through the block grant. Okay, great. Thanks.
Thanks. Megan, you mentioned that you've got to find the right people. What qualities are you looking for in your interviewing process?
Um, we have a pretty good, I think, feel. Our interview panel has a pretty good feel of because I do like safe school violation meetings. And so our panel has been like one of the other people who's in those safe school meetings, but really finding people who care about kids, who understand that kids make mistakes and that um, we're all here to learn and grow, and really just being that supportive person to our kids and being that advocate and teaching the kids how to advocate for them for themselves. But really, I think the biggest quality I see in all of our Check and Connect mentors is really that ability to relate to kids and to really be able to build strong relationships with kids and um, do it non-judgmentally. Like they're just know that kids are kids and we gotta love them and take care of them and really advocate for them.
Thank
Kaylee was
you.
in on a couple of our interviews. So Kaylee, if you have anything you want to add to that.
No, I think everything you said was perfect.
Sometimes it takes a little recruiting of, people that we know in our area that would be a good fit for the program too. But usually we find, I mean, we've been lucky.
Great. What other questions do you all have? Okay, well, we will end our Q&A now then, but if you think of any questions, feel free to ask, send them our way. I want to give you all an opportunity, as we always do, to break out into smaller groups to discuss your comprehensive prevention plans, to discuss what was shared today, maybe any considerations that you might have to implement this in your plan, or maybe you already are implementing Check and Connect or another type of mentoring program. So let me pull up my slide deck here. And so we will ask you these questions. So do you see any of the strategies described today fitting in with your current or future versions of your comprehensive prevention plan? How so? Just discuss how the implementation of your plan is going, and then any successes, questions, or concerns you have regarding the implementation of your comprehensive prevention plan or block grant funds. Okay, welcome back. It looks like we are just getting the second group back in here, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Hopefully that was enough time for you to have your discussions. I know the times can sometimes go by quickly. All right, so we had two groups, and I would love for each group to share one or two highlights from your conversation. So let's start with group number 2.
Hi, I was in group number 2, and I just think the highlight for me was the variation on what everybody's trying to do and kind of like making it fit to their school and their district. and like adding in, I think there were two specific speakers who talked about we're not really funding the Check and Connect program, but we're doing the Check and Connect program. This is what we're doing with some of our other prevention money. So I thought that was a highlight. Also, it was at the end of the discussion. I enjoyed hearing some of the feedback on the Botfin Life Skills program.
Great, thanks, Carrie. Anybody else from group 2 want to share? Okay, group 3, we'd love to hear from you.
Well, I'll just talk in our group. We just talked a little bit about check and connect a little bit more in the age groups that we used it for. I know Miss Johnson had a question about additional funds, but I don't know if she's available to talk, but she wanted to ask. I did tell her just to email you and Michelle, so maybe she'll be doing that.
Okay, thanks, Megan. Miss Johnson, did you want to elaborate on that at all, or?
It was a question because I remember it was about our last meet about possibly transferring funds that some schools just need extra from, or they don't need as much from, kind of just dispersing maybe some extra funding. But I can send you an email, just more specific question on that. Do I reach out to you, Clarissa?
Yeah, if you have any questions about your funding,
Okay.
Check and Connect mentoring is generally going to be an allowable use of funds. So yeah, reach out to me and we can discuss details.
Okay. And what is that? I'm sorry.
Oh, I will go ahead and put that in the chat.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. Um, any other highlights that anyone wants to share from your discussions? All right, well, that's okay. I wanted to, before we end today, remind you of some additional professional learning opportunities that the prevention team is offering. So this collaborative meeting we have 2 more scheduled. One on April 15th, where we'll be discussing parent engagement, and Susie Estrada, who is a specialist here at USBE responsible for family engagement, will be coming and sharing some tips. And then on June 3rd, we will have Sierra Marsh from Murray School District sharing some of their suicide prevention efforts. I believe she's specifically going to be focusing on sources of strength. And so I think both of those should be really great. While we have all of you here, and I know you're so chatty, but we would love to get your input on these collaborative meeting series. We have noticed a little bit of a drop off in attendance, and I'll be sending out an email, but for now, just wanted to pose this question to all of you who are here today. We're wondering if you all think it might be better for the next round of these meetings, so for our next awardees series, if it would be better to hold these meetings less frequently. We had a request to hold collaborative meetings amongst block grant recipients, but we're wondering if every other month is a little much and if it might be better to go to maybe 2 to 4 times a year. But what are your thoughts on that?
I think so. They're wonderful, but it's just there aren't enough hours in the day for everything that we have to do.
Thanks, Diana. I can definitely relate to that. And Nikki?
So for me, I love hearing what people are doing, but I'm we are also different in our LEA, our enrollment, public versus a charter school. I I am almost wondering if you could turn some of the presentations into here's a I create a highlight of the work I'm doing and that I share it out and it comes out in a newsletter. So then that way, when people have time, they can look at it. And today in our breakout room, we spent more time talking about some logistic pieces of the grant. So what I would be looking for is more, I have questions for you guys. I love hearing great things happening, but I have logistical questions about my grant. And so office hours with you guys where we could be asking questions would be more beneficial for my time. And then when I've got extra time to be able to look at, here's what each school district is doing, or here's what each awardee is doing as part of their project. That hasn't been, not everything that everyone is doing is something that I'm taking and applying, or it might be something that we're doing completely separate. That's just my feedback.
Thank you. That's helpful. And as far as office hours go, do you have a suggestion or a recommendation on how often we hold those office hours? And
I
what might
think
be
that
useful?
quarterly space where you were saying even 3 times per year is beneficial, and then maybe again as grant reporting is coming up, that might be helpful just as we're finishing up. How do we get our data together and all those submissions? But I don't think it needs to be frequent.
Okay.
I just have a quick question. So, I really appreciate that feedback, Nikki, and it's super helpful for us to hear those types of suggestions. Would it be helpful to have, when you say to create highlights videos and send them out, would it be helpful to have those just sent out to the grant recipients, or would it be better just to send it out in our regular prevention newsletter? And I guess I'm wondering, are you already subscribed to the newsletter, all of you? Do you know about that newsletter? Because we want to provide you with the information in the best way possible, right? I would love in that protective factor feature that we do every month in our newsletter to feature an LEA and what you're doing there. I would love that. But I want to hear from everyone if that's the best way to do it.
I agree. I need more logistic help. Like if it's about check in, check out, what are you paying for? Are you paying for a salary? Are you paying for rewards? More of like the nitty-gritty detail stuff. If that makes sense. Or the time for a meeting is just a question and answer session, so anyone can bring their questions and answers. But I love the newsletter idea as well.
Thank you.
I don't know that I am getting the newsletter. I'm madly searching to see if I'm missing something, but I think I might not be getting it.
Cool. Okay, so what I'll have Clarissa do when she sends out the follow-up email from today is include the information on how you can subscribe to that. In general, if you're subscribed to the prevention listserv, you also get the prevention newsletter every month. So I'll have Clarissa send out that information. If you want to do that today, because we have a newsletter coming out probably either today or tomorrow, then you would just go to our webpage and find the listserv, and then you can subscribe to the listserv.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I just mention one thing, Clarissa? I should have had you say this. And sorry everyone that I got waylaid and jumped on late. But I do want to point out this, something that we're finding as a result of this legislative session. And I'm sure many of you have heard in the news talk about projected cuts, the 5% cut that we might get, and some of the recommendations from the legislative fiscal analyst and from the legislature and the board as a result. So what we've kind of uncovered in the last little while is that the legislator and the legislative fiscal analyst is going off of the July program closeout balance numbers. What that means is if LEAs are waiting until after July, like if they're submitting reimbursements in August or September, it's looking like we have extra funds. And so what the result of that is the legislature saying, oh, well, they have extra funds and the LEAs aren't using them, so we're going to take them back. So we're going to be creating some materials to help LEAs understand that. What happens is if they take that money back, then that's the reduction in the programs, and that'll be a reduction in the amount of grant money we can provide and things like that. So I guess what I'm asking is, if possible, if you could submit your reimbursement requests by the end of June so that those year-end balances reflect that you have used that money. That way it won't have negative consequences for these programs in the following year legislative session. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so our target here would be all reimbursements in by June, if possible.
Thanks, Tanya. And if anyone has any additional questions, feel free to reach out. I know we're coming close to the end of time here. I did want to mention our Prevention and Student Services webinar series. Hopefully you are all registered for that. Our next one is coming up on understanding and supporting student mental health. And then we do have our comprehensive prevention plan workshop series scheduled for March. So we are hoping that you can attend. Registration is pretty low in Price and Cedar City. So if you are not too far from Price or Cedar City and haven't yet registered, we would love for you to register. Right now, we're determining whether or not to move forward with those or how to move forward with those. And so we want to be able to continue to offer these workshops in all of our areas, including our rural areas. So your attendance will help us with that. Are there any questions regarding the prevention plan workshop that we have coming up? I will just mention that this will be very useful in thinking about applying for the block grant in the fall. We will be, I think there will be a lot of really valuable information shared, and it will give you an opportunity to update your plans. Whether or not you're going to choose to apply for funding in the fall, I think it could be a valuable workshop. So we do hope to see you there, as well as your teams. We understand that you may only be able to send one person due to funding and capacity issues, but if you can bring your team or multiple members from your team, I think this will be a good time to do that, because you will have hands-on time to work on your comprehensive prevention plans together. It's always better to do that with a team if at all possible. We also have our protective factor framework workshops coming up. I'll be sending the slide deck out. Carrie, we're so glad to see you there. And then we do have a really great opportunity coming up at, it'll be held at Bryce Canyon, Ruby's Inn. It's the power of connection, enhancing positive childhood experiences through social connections. I'm really excited about this workshop. It will be hands-on, it'll be engaging, it'll be a great way to, we'll learn strategies on connecting with students. And I think it'll be really good. So that's something else that's coming up. And you can always request additional training if you would like. Training from our team. And then here's our contact information if you have any questions. Again, I will be sending the slide deck out, so you'll have all of our contact information and as well as the training information. So yes, Nikki, thanks for your recommendation. Yes, that pre-conference at the Utah Prevention Coalition Association at Bryce Canyon is always fantastic, as well as the conference. So hopefully many of you will be able to attend. Thank you so much. It's 1 o'clock, so we will end now, but have a great rest of your day, and we'll meet again in April.